Welcome again to my Tens of Tens of Friends. It is me, Teacher TJ, and today I will be rewinding and reviewing Abbott Elementary, Season 2, Episode 12, Fight. This episode opens up with Janine and Gregory getting mail from the mailbox, and y'all, I remember when I started as a teacher, I did not know that was a thing. Apparently, they sell you mail to school. Interesting. Janine spots a mailer from Greg's dad in his mailbox, and the mailer is basically about Greg's dad's family business. Apparently, Greg's dad has hired an actor for the flyers, and instead of using his own son, which is crazy, but that's what he did. Then the show starts with Janine in her classroom giving students an assignment using a writing prompt. Janine's students have switched seats because there is beef between a couple of girls. One of the students go as far as to say, "I beat you up." Instead of addressing it, optimistic Janine feels like she can fix the problem as usual. Janine says that the student says she'll beam her up. Mr. Eddie's dad is in town. I believe he came in to tell Gregory about how much he disapproves of his career and how much he disapproves of his life's choices, I guess. Melissa Shamenti is in the break room. She's crunching numbers for her fantasy football team. She cannot understand why Mr. Johnson keeps winning every week. Mr. Eddie's dad met Barbara and Mr. Hill in the break room, and he told them that he noticed somebody is using one of his designs in the garden, and it appears that they improved on the design. Barbara said it wasn't her, and Jacob said it wasn't him either. It turns out it was Gregory. Somehow they have not figured out that Gregory is the one tending to the garden. After doing some deductive reasoning, Barbara realizes that Gregory has been secretly working in the garden. His dad was pretty impressed with to tend to the garden. Barbara's flabbers are gasted. She wants to know, why is he secretly working in the garden? While in the cafeteria, Barbara lets Janine know that Gregory has been secretly working in the garden all this time. And Janine lets Barbara know that her students have been fighting. Janine says it's a process. She has made them be buddies for a week in an effort to foster a friendship. She tells Barbara to trust the process. Just as one of the girls take the other little girl's milk and she jumps on it and she tells her, and it splatters all over the place. And then Barbara, she always gotta get her words in. She says, trust the process. Okay. The little girl got milked, is what the kid said. I'm hollering in Miss Shamenti's class. Ava disrupts her to let her know that Mr. Johnson's fantasy football team favorite player, and she wants to distract him from bidding because they don't want him to win. In Janine's class, she's having the kids work together in groups of two to trace each other's body outline, and then they will have to fill in, what they felt that person was had on the inside of them, I guess, in an effort to get them to bond. The girl Zara was filled with poop, and Joya showed Zara dressed fairly nice, but the outside of her, she had little squiggly lines and stuff to represent that she was smelly. She stinks. She smells like farts and her breath stinks. And she has smelly pits. That was the last straw for Janine, and she threatens to cancel the movie day for the two girls if they don't pull it together. In the break room, Gregory's dad calls to invite him to come work with him in their business so he can make some extra money and he could take a girl on a date. The invitation makes Gregory happy, just the idea of his dad, who doesn't really bond with him, I guess, or welcome him much, invited him to be around him to work with him. In the cafeteria, Janine is happy that the girls are finally getting along because a bigger kid walks up to Janine, assuming that she was one of the little girls, to beat her up. Before she could explain that she was not the little girl, The other girl's sister walks in and they're both ready to fight. Straight like that. I come from a time where you mess with me, I go get my big brother. Or really, I was not even the one to get my big brother. I am my mom's oldest daughter. I had two older brothers while coming up in school, and I stayed to myself. I didn't bother nobody. I wasn't a bully or nothing like that. I prided myself in staying out of trouble. But one day, this little boy thought that he was going to bully me just because he wanted to. I was sad and nervous, like, oh man, at the school, I guess I just got to get beat up. Well, but my best friend was like, oh, hell no. And she went to go tell my big brother. He went off on that boy. And I didn't have any more problems from him anymore. There's nothing like being a good person, yet having someone still want to bully you just because you're a good person, but having somebody to stand up for you. And that was like, pretty dope. The funny part is I had never done nothing to that boy. I don't even think I spoke to that boy. But yeah, he wants to beat me up. Anyhow, a student yells fight and the girls begin to tussle a bit. Janine caught in the middle, trying to break it up. And yeah, it was a mess. Kids can be really mean, y'all. I know by now y'all have heard of the kids in Chicago that beat that lady up and her kids. Don't Call Me White Girl had a very interesting take on that incident.
The way I would eat your children for lunch, if I got the opportunity, I wish a group of teenagers would attack me with my guns would have been running. Bro, they would have been coming in one by one to the local police station, to their grandmom's house. Help, 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 please help. Because I would have been them children up. I don't know.
Bad kids have to be careful because there's always someone better than you. I say just leave people alone. Like if they're not bothering you, why are you trying to fight them? And when do we get to a time where bad kids feel like they can beat adults up? Anyhow, the girls' way of solving their problems was to have their sisters fight. In Miss Shementi's class, she has begun Operation Stop Mr. Johnson from bidding on the fantasy football team first so that she can win. So the way that she does that is she sends a kid out of the classroom with a big old bucket of water that she knew was going to get wasted. And just as she planned it, the girl carrying the water ended up making a big mess in the bathroom. Mr. Eddie is working with his dad in lawn care, and he's smiling. They're telling jokes, laughing, and really enjoying themselves. They're having a really good time. His dad propositions him to work with him. It turns out that the guy on the flyer was a really good model, but he couldn't garden at all. Gregory is honest, and he tells his dad that he's basically insatiable when it comes to him. So he really his dad gives him his final props and they respect each other. And Mr. Eddie entertains the idea of working with his dad. In Miss T's class, she admits defeat to Barbara and she tells her that she had a hard time with people not getting along. Barbara explains to her that she has to get comfortable with people not getting along, or she has to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. In Mr. Eddie's class, he's teaching the children how to garden by starting with putting the seeds in the cup and the wet paper towel, and he's explaining the process of germination. Jacob walks in to visit Mr. Eddie and tells him his dad offered him to work with him, but Mr. Eddie told him no. He recognized that his job at Abbott, and that he had a job that he really enjoyed in a place that he loved. So much so that he loved gardening at Abbott, and his confidence is growing. I'll say, like I've always said many times, do what you like. In Miss Teague's class, the girls got to watch the movie, and Miss Teague came to the realization that everyone is not going to get along. And children have real feelings, And as an adult, we have to allow them to feel their feels. As a preschool teacher, I know I must allow children to feel their feels, and all of my children are not going to get along all of the time. I'll let the parents know about my students' little spats as much as I can remember to, just in case something escalates. And I try to keep feuding friends away from each other. But the funny thing is, the two that fight the most usually always want to be together the most. So that can be hard. In the end at Abbott, the students have a little friendly moment. The two sisters are walking down a hall together. It turns out that they have something in common. They both love butterflies and they both love beating people up. That makes Janine call her sister and invite her over without her mom, because usually she tries to get the mom and the sister together and it always ends up in a fight that she has to try to diffuse. But she's understanding that her mom and her sister don't have to get along, and if they do need to get along, they need to work that out amongst themselves. At the end of this episode, Mr. Johnson has won the fantasy football game again, and that was with the help of Jacob. And that concludes that episode. Thank you so much for watching. To my tens and tens of friends, keep joining in, keep coming back because I am. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you have not. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, 10. And today I will be rewinding and reviewing Abbott's. Not feeling my hair. Oh, do we do that? I don't know what to do. His dad was pretty impressed with his initiatives. Favorite player, and she wants to distract him from bidding